those who are joining us here physically at Fidelity Motors or perhaps huddled in Zoomland or any of our virtual platforms. My name is Tamoy Campbell, the reigning Miss Kingston and St. Andrew Festival Queen, and it is my honor to be your moderator for this evening's proceedings. Now, sit back, relax, get a pen and paper, of course, because you're definitely in for insightful, informative, and information that you just cannot sleep on. Today's ceremony is all about content creators. It's all about the ingenuity of our creatives and ensuring that we secure the bag and monetize that brand, but of course, ensuring that we protect our intellectual property. Our panelists are coming from all over. We have El Salvador, Jamaica representing for jam packed information just for you. But however, just before we get into the more substantive part of the proceedings, we're going to have greetings from Miss Sandra. Perhaps, give me a minute, all right? She is Mrs. Sandra Glasgow, the chairman of the Rev Up Caribbean, and she's also the chairman for an incubator for Caribbean startups. So, ladies and gentlemen, please turn your attention to the virtual screen for Mrs. Sandra Glasgow.
Good evening, everyone. I hope everybody can hear me. I bring greetings to this gathering on the launch of ZRise on behalf of the Rev Up Caribbean Incubator. You know, in today's knowledge economy, value is increasingly created at the intersection of arts, business, and technology. Cultural and creative entrepreneurs are leading this trend. And we're so pleased to have Jean-Claude Walters Dunn as one of the entrepreneurs in the very first cohort of founders in the Rev Up Incubator. For these founders, entrepreneurship is a way of life. It's a driving force that compels them to do more, to move faster, go farther than anyone else, even in the face of high risk and uncertain outcomes. Those of us who have trod this journey know that entrepreneurship is hard. And many founders, though they may be excellent at developing creative ideas, technologies, products, or services, they lack the broad range of skills and abilities that they require to successfully run and scale a business. Understanding the market, customer acquisition and retention, achieving product market fit, optimizing pricing, understanding finance and financial statements, building and motivating teams, and adhering to good corporate governance practices are only some of the knowledge and skills that they require. Having a solid understanding of these areas and applying them as the business grows is a basic requirement to turn a startup into a scale up. As an active angel investor, I recognize that a successfully scaled an entrepreneurial journey means not just having access to financing, which many entrepreneurs are seeking, and that could mean raising equity and or debt, but it also means pivoting, maintaining differentiation, protecting IP and know-how, always trying to avoid failure, and hopefully achieving an exit for investors through a private equity deal or an IPO. Juggling all these balls and at the same time complying with all the business requirements like taxation and all kinds of regulations, keeping in communication with one's stakeholders, and remaining open to continual learning, welcoming advice, and even, especially in these days, preserving one's well-being are all part of the difficult journey that founders are expected to navigate in order to be successful. That's why, having invested almost 3 million US dollars in 12 startups, First Angels Jamaica investors started the Rev Up Caribbean Incubator. It's an intensive virtual 5-month program that supports founders like Jean-Claude as they prepare to access financing and make investment pitches to angel investors. Jean-Claude and his team are off to a fantastic start, having won the Vincent Hosang UWI venture competition a few months ago. I know that Jean-Claude is taking advantage of the many experts who are sharing their knowledge on a range of business topics week after week, as well as the hours of mentorship that he's receiving from local and international mentors. The pitches are less than a month away, and I'm expecting Jean-Claude to make a great impression on the panel of angel investors and convince them why they should not only invest in ZRise, but also devote their time and expertise to support the company on its journey over the next several years. So I want to congratulate the ZRise team on this official launch. I'm sorry I'm not there with you in person, but I want to, just say that I am very proud of the team, and we look forward to supporting you on your journey. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Glasgow. And she was the chairman of RevUp Caribbean and also for the Caribbean Incubator for startups. And I honestly just want to give some gold stars because it actually points to just how amazing it is that individuals and corporate entities are seeing the potential of the creative industry. And of course, going a step further by supporting and giving as many incentives as possible. I also have to give some gratitude and big ups to the people who made this event possible or sponsors. We have Fidelity Motors, which we're here zooming from. We have Goodard Enterprises Limited, RevUp Caribbean, DIA Lab. We have Caribbean Optimist, Paris Ruby Cakes, Shenrik Distributors, and Electroville Jamaica. Thank you so much. Big up to you. Gold stars for you. And thank you so much for investing in such an amazing platform. Now, ladies and gentlemen, when I started, I did say that we're talking about content creators. We're talking about creativity. We're also talking about monetizing from your brand, but also protecting your intellectual property. And our first speaker this afternoon, or this evening rather, comes all the way from El Salvador. She'll be making her presentation on building and earning from a multinational influencer brand. Her name is none other than Lorena Menjivar, and take time with me, everybody. My Spanish is a little bit rusty, but I'm a try nonetheless. Lorena Menjivar is a TV journalist based in El Salvador, and she currently hosts for Channel 12's national morning news, Hecos AM, and for the evening entertainment radio show Zona 10 FM. She was born and raised in Chalatenango, El Salvador, and at the age of 19, she moved to San Salvador, where she attended El Salvador National University, UES. And there, she graduated with her Bachelor's of Science degree in journalism. Now, in the meantime, she started her television career by hosting and producing a TV show called El Salvador de Cerca, and it is a weekly tourism show that eventually expanded to Channel Centro America TV in the United States. And just then, when you think Lorena couldn't get any better, she comes in 2011 and she started to host and produce TV reports and for the national morning show Hola El Salvador, and she eventually became one of the main anchors for this entertainment program. In 2017, she shifted from entertainment to hard news, and to this present day, Lorena hosts Noticiero Hecos AM, broadcasting from Monday to Friday at 5:30 a.m. Lorena is working as a content creator in social media, where she reaches a 1.5 million following community. Ladies and gentlemen, in Zoomland, in whichever virtual platforms you are, please give me some round of applause, some fire emojis, something for Miss Lorena Menjivar. All right? All right,
Hi.
but just... Hi, Lorena.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Just hold on for a minute, please, Lorena. I want to get some information from our producers backstage. All right?
All right.
All right.
I'm trying to set the camera on, but I'm listening right now. Thank you for such a warm welcoming. I'm so excited to be here.
All right, Lorena, we are so excited to have you too, but I'm going to ask you just hold on just a little bit because you want to hear greetings from the State Minister, Orlando Terrelong, and he's a State Minister in the Ministry of Culture, Entertainment, Sport. That's my ministry as well. So we're going to queue for a virtual greeting from the State Minister, Orlando Terrelong.
All right.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're just going to wait just a few more minutes for the minister. You know, he's getting himself prepared. He has to come and do his thing and big up Z-Rise because guess what? This is the space and the place to be for all our content creators and our creatives out there. Alrighty, so while we're waiting for the minister, I'm going to tell you a little bit about Z-Rise. Now, this is a company dedicated to nurturing the ecosystem of Caribbean creators through different digital platforms. And Z-Rise is launching their virtual platform Z-Link. And that's a digital platform that will enable Caribbean content creators and social media users to connect and earn directly from co-creating monetized content. So in sum, Z-Rise is a trendsetter. In sum, Z-Rise is coming out here and launching a platform for you, that budding influencer. Are you the next Rushcam? Are you the next China K-pop girl? This is the place and space just for you. All right, I know the minister is here, and I'm going to give him the opportunity to bring his greetings. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're just having a few technical challenges. You know how these things go, but the show must and it will go on. And I want to formally greet the State Minister, Alanda Terry-Long, who's here joining with us virtually. Hi, Minister. I hope you're doing well, and I'm so happy that you're here, and we're looking forward to you bringing greetings. But just until we get these challenges sorted out, I'm going to go back over to Lorena because she's here, she's ready, she's waiting, and she's going to give us all the information that we need about building and earning from a multinational influencer brand. So Lorena, you're still with me? You're still here? Lorena?
Zira is the host.
Hi.
Hi, Lorena. Lovely. I love your energy already, Lorena. So we're gonna go and we're gonna have you just take over the virtual stage. Do your thing, add your razzle dazzle, and let us hear your presentation on building and earning from a multinational influencer brand. Over to you, Lorena.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you for such a warm welcoming. I am honored to be here with you right now. For me, trust me, I feel so happy to share with you a little bit of my experience. What can I say? First of all, let me introduce myself. My name is Lorena Menjivar. I am 34 years old, of which I have spent 14 years working in television in different TV shows, as you already shared, from entertainment to news. So I'm currently an anchor for a morning news broadcast named Hechos AM on Channel 12. I also have a radio show that airs Monday through Friday from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. So if you are wondering what do I enjoy the most about my job, I would like to tell you that it has to be that it has allowed me to have many experiences that I continue to learn every day, and that my job allows me to be in contact with the public and allows me to provide a service to the people to inform and entertain them. So my job has allowed me to do very interesting things. I have practiced scuba diving, bungee jumping, extreme sports such as rappel and canopy. And on the news side, I have covered presidential elections in our country. I had the opportunity to interview very interesting characters of Salvadorian society. And not only in El Salvador, I also work outside of the border of my country. I have developed journalistic coverage in Guatemala, in Nicaragua, in Mexico, and in the year 2018, I traveled to Japan with the Japanese International Cooperation Agency, JICA, and it has been one of the most exciting and enriching experiences, professionally speaking. I did really enjoy that coverage. So that's just a little bit of my personal life, my professional life. So if you are wondering what about my personal life, I can share with you that I am a married woman. I've been married for the last 5 years to a Salvadorian audiovisual producer, Andres Diaz, with whom I also had the opportunity to work in the area of advertising and marketing. So Andres has taught me how to bring ideas to life through images, something that I consider is so important to build your own identity on social media. So I think that we are a very active couple with Andres. We both are passionate about our jobs, and we love and we are committed to each our professional projects. We don't have any children, but we have 3 cats. We are cat lovers. We adore them so much. All 3 cats are rescued, and we love them very much, and they make our day. Our pets are a happy part of our routine when we finish our workday. So about what am I passionate about? The activity I enjoy the most when I have free time is exercise. It is something that I do for my well-being, for balance, for physical benefit. I am a person who enjoys exercising a lot. I dedicate 1 or 2 hours to go to the gym, to work out, to do my weight training, and something that I practice with some discipline since 2016. So this hobby eventually became a passion, and because of that, I competed in bodybuilding in the category of bikini fitness. So it could be said that I have a very good debut because I won the first place since my first competition. So this is a little bit of myself. I consider that it is very important to speak of, of the person that I am and the country that I'm living in. In fact, El Salvador is the tiniest, the smallest country in Central America. We are next to Honduras, we are next to Guatemala, very next to Nicaragua. So because of my profession, we can say that it was quite natural to create a profile in each social network that was born. So I think my career was growing as a different social networks were born. In the beginning, it was only available to make your fan page on Facebook. So that happened in 2011, a few years ago. So later I made my Twitter account, and then it was born that social network that allowed to place more artistic photographs and allowed me to apply filters. And if you are guessing, that social media were Instagram. So in those years, only 2 people at my work had Instagram. I was one of them. So I really like this social media, this social network, because it allowed me to express that more artistic side that I had and show different perspectives of photographs. So then I made my Snapchat profile, but it was not very successful with the Salvadorian public. I still have it, but I don't use it a lot. So Instagram and Facebook became the networks to which I dedicated most time. So basically, I share different types of contents according to the nature of each social network. On Instagram, for instance, I basically share my daily routine. I give tips on fitness and training. I share health information. I share beauty tips and talk about what happens in my day as a really daily life. I mean, in my normal day. When I travel, I also share pictures or photos and videos of the places that have caught my attention. And if you're wondering, on Twitter, I replicate a lot of news. I usually make at least 1 post on my feed a day on each social network, 5 tweets at least a day, 1 Instagram post on my profile on Facebook, and a lot of stories, if you can imagine. In Instagram stories, a lot of them, at least 20 Instagram stories a day. So to generate this content, I dedicate approximately 2 hours a day, distributed in my routine of work. As a journalist and in my personal activities, I'll try to fit all my activities, my professional activities, between my work editing and making pictures. So in addition, I'm one of I am a one team person because I get involved a lot in the content that I publish. So from the photographs, recording, editing of my reels, I do everything I public. So one of my, for example, I have 1 million followers on Instagram. I have 500,000 followers on Twitter. I have approximately 45K followers, and TikTok, I have 100,000 followers in TikTok. That is another social media that I like to share. So something that I do, the amount of followers in my social networks, I had the opportunity to work in recent years in different advertising campaigns for Salvadorian and international brands that belongs of areas of technology, beauty, food. For example, I have worked with technology company, Huawei of the cell phones and stuff, technologies, gadgets, Pepsi, Oster, Nestle, among others. So I started working with Beep brand, and in the recent weeks, we were working on positioning this product in the minds of Salvadorian families. We are with Beep, we are working on stories on Reels format, showing how to use the product, showing its attributes, mentioning the main benefits of using Beep, and making known its current promotions. It has been very well accepted. Many people ask me how to use it, and also ask me about my experience with the product. So that's very positive income for me. So because we are helping Salvadorians to know this product. So I think I have a very good experience working for advertising campaigns in social networks because I have a level of connection with the public. Many people also follow me because they are fond of me for being on television for so many years. Another point to highlight is that I think that I stay genuine in my social network. I show myself just like I am. You see just how Lorena is in social media. So as a third point, I'm constantly posting content on social network. That's very important for content creator to post every day. So every day you will see something about me. And I try to post with the very best quality that is possible for me, that the photograph looks good. It doesn't have to be perfect, but it has to be it and looks good. I do the best I can with my video and recording editing. I like that they are well recorded, my videos well edited, and my videos are that has a good music, that have a good rhythm in the edition, that song is appropriate, for example. And another part that I consider very important is to work with brands that I identify myself with brands that I consume myself, that I can recommend to the public. I had to, for example, I do it. I have to decline some campaigns with which I have not felt connected, and I'm very loyal to the brands I work with. So lastly, I think many brands choose to work with me because they know that I am responsible. So I am a very committed person with each campaign, with each client, with each correction. And I take it very seriously when I have to work with them. So responsibility is a big word for me. So about my advice, to new influencers who want to create reputation and content in their country or region, the first advice, it would be to open their YouTube channel, to create their social media profile, to start posting. As I said, it doesn't have to be perfect. You just have to share and post content daily. Many people also are sometimes we put on your mind mental limits. So maybe you are seeing something difficult because their photo or their video is not perfect from the beginning, but the reality that eventually you are going to find your identity in social network. So we all start with 0 followers. That's the important thing, that you create and you post something that you are passionate about, something about you love. And it's something that are you going to dedicate a lot of your time, because you have to love it. So my best advice to monetize your brand, to to all the people that are going to introduce to create a profile in social media. Okay, you have a great opportunity, you have a unique opportunity, so go for it and use it. I wish you great success in your projects. I wish you great success in all you do, and I hope that my words may inspire to all of you. And that will be all for this day. Thank you very much for listening. Thank you very much for having me here. I feel honored to be sharing my experience with you guys.
No, thank you, Lorena. No, everybody in Zoomland, in any of our virtual platforms, please give a round of applause or some fire emojis or some smiley faces. Lorena, I'm all the way in Jamaica and I'm feeling the energy, but I'm also feeling the passion. Hearts for you, Lorena. I honestly love the fact that you said you just have to love what you're doing. And I honestly can't believe it because you get up every morning and it's you and Andres and your couple goals, your body goals, you're just killing it. And you and you and your cats, and I love it. But it's what you love and it's what you do, and it's authentic. So it becomes so much easier to translate that on social media. I really do appreciate that, Lorena. I have a couple questions because I really want to get your take on it. Can you just perhaps go through us step by step? How do you really attract different brands to work with? I know you would have said it before that, there's Huawei and there's perhaps some other companies that you've worked with, but how would I just starting my social media or have a little bit of a community start by saying, I want to work with Pepsi. I want to work with Huawei. What's the process?
I think that is you have to show yourself. Perhaps you might go to sometimes many of these brands work with advertising agency, maybe identify the topics that or for example, if you already have a community, identify the topics you like to share. I advise you to identify which photos or videos have very aesthetics, and based on what you can see, how to improve the content you share. If you want to work with a social media advertising, if you already, for example, have some experience in that, surely you already know that one of the first ways to start collaboration is through Swamp or our exchange. So that will be a good idea. Maybe good to know each other with the brand, with the Swamp or our exchange. Eventually, that can give you the practice you need to deal with your client, to get to know how advertising agencies work. And one last piece of advice is to learn to use all technological tools to have at a hand and to be the creators that you own the content. It is true that sometimes it's good to have to help to generate your photos or videos, but I think that it's a good that we know how to get involved in your creation of content we share. And we always learn something new every day. So try to learn something every day about making pictures, about editing, and to know each other with your brands. Maybe you can go and get close to the social media advertising or get close to the advertising agency that is working with, for example, Pepsi. Right. So you are know each other and be able to work in other advertising campaigns in the future.
Okay. Thank you so much.
I'm sorry. I hope that I did well. I have a little bit trouble right now to order my words, but I
Oh,
know that my
Lorena,
English is not so good, but I did my best.
you did amazing, and gold stars to you. Love from Jamaica all the way to El Salvador. Thank you so much for your presentation, and I'm definitely sure that we learned something from you. So, ladies and gentlemen, that was Lorena all the way from El Salvador giving us the tips and tricks to how we can monetize our brand, and of course, being responsible, being dedicated. Go to the University of YouTube and learn, and you can be able to have your brand, have your content out there, and of course, perhaps snag one of those big sponsors like a Pepsi or Huawei, just like Lorena. So thank you so much. Now, my producers and my technical team, I think I want to know if the minister is here as yet. But just as we're going through to hear if the minister is here as yet, we have to really give thanks again to the people who made this event possible. We have Fidelity Motors, we have Goddard Enterprises Limited, Emerge Multimedia, so all these niceness, big up yourself, Emerge. We have SG Productions, who making sure everything is looking good and sounding great, DII Lab, Caribbean Optimist, Paris Ruby Cakes, Electroville Jamaica, and Rev Up Caribbean. Thank you so much, and go stars for you. And ladies and gentlemen, the man of the hour, none other than State Minister Alanda Terrelong. I see he's here and he's on our Zoom platform. State Minister, the virtual stage is now yours to bring your greetings.
Good evening. Thank you all. I'm not so sure about the man of the hour. The man of the hour is probably one of your co-founders, young Jean-Claude Walters himself, and the rest of your team. It's just an honor for me to be able to participate and certainly to bring greetings to you all. So good evening to everyone on all the different platforms, etc., and of course to our young business moguls. Thank you for having me. When Google bought YouTube in 2006 for approximately 1.65 billion US dollars, many business moguls and academics, they didn't see the financial sense of it. They believed it was a dumb move, dumping money on a website where random people uploaded random videos. How could Google make money from a site like that? To many of us who grew up with YouTube as not just a website for uploading amateur videos, but an app, a platform, a marketplace, a space where you can turn clicks into cash, a platform from which multi-million-dollar careers are launched, you wonder what nonsense these detractors were talking about so many years ago. But we should perhaps cut them some slack, because given where the world was at just mere 16 years ago in 2006, in their experience and from their standpoint, those pundits believed that Google was perhaps flushing away $1.6 billion down the tubes, so to speak. But the truth is, Google had vision. They saw what the detractors did not and could not see. Vision, my young kings and queens, is really what makes the difference. It's that kind of disruptive vision that allows entrepreneurs and businesses operating within the creative ecosystem to gift us the next revenue generating, billionaire making YouTube platform. I speak a lot in my discussions to our youth in Jamaica about the fourth industrial revolution and how our Jamaican education system needs to prioritize STEM and STEAM and have a serious shake-up of the system to train teachers and prepare students to become agile residents of the digital sphere. When I talk about the fourth industrial revolution, many people might think that this is some abstract concept. And one day, someday, as a country we'll get there. But they are so wrong. We do not have one day, someday, because that day was in fact yesterday. That day was a year ago. We are late. Just look at how the digital divide exposed the learning difficulties and gaps between our children as experienced over the last 2 years with COVID. But the good news is, because there is always light, and even after the darkest and longest of nights, the sun will come out. There will be light at the end of the day. And so we can still catch the boat. It is entities like Z-Rise who are dedicated to nurturing the ecosystem of Caribbean creators who will ensure that Jamaica and the Caribbean secure a place at the helm of this digital revolution. And so I am honored to share in your celebrations today as you launch your AI-powered influencer marketplace and embark upon your third volume of your live creative discussion web series, The Journey. I am pleased to see the diversity of content that is being addressed in your discussions and features from personal branding to NFTs. And, just like when Google bought YouTube some 16 years ago, many were puzzled. Sign, here we go again. I believe with, I certainly believe that with NFTs today, we are back at a pivotal generational defining moment. NFTs will be the real deal, and it won't be 16 years in the making. I believe it will be much sooner than that. I mean, I can declare that I have bought my NFTs, I have my cryptocurrency, I have my Ethereum, because, if you're going to be the lit boss, and if you're going to be an advocate for youth and next generation, sort of enterprises, then certainly to be on the cutting edge, you have to walk the walk and talk the talk as well. So I can say I'm a proud crypto owner as well. Facebook is another giant disruptor, and they have renamed their company. They are now Meta, a play on the metaverse, as you already know. And I have heard a variety of comments, criticisms, and feedback about Facebook and the metaverse. Some like the idea, seeing it as an inevitable pivot towards the future, and Facebook wants to create or heavily influence this future. Of course, it certainly won't be for free. Others, however, believe that the metaverse will be the end of us as social and sociable human species as we migrate and live our lives in the wonderful world of avatars. Whatever the case, and however you might feel, the metaverse is a reality, and NFTs will be its currency. So here we are, breaking the veil on opportunities of a lifetime. And the best part is that you all get to create, influence, and capitalize on all of this early. And if you doubt what I'm saying, just ask Snoop Dogg, or is it Snoop Lion these days? But the point is, he bought land in the metaverse, and that has driven up property prices near his land. From a government perspective, we're doing our own part to facilitate your working in the digital sphere. Already, the Bank of Jamaica has developed its own CBDC, Central Bank Digital Currency. This indicates that the slow coach that government can be is well into gear and changing and charging ahead. We are certainly aware of the challenges that banking regulations might pose as you work in the digital sphere, transaction restrictions, etc., when using or trying to buy cryptocurrency or NFTs. But these are all issues that the government and all our commercial banks are ironing out, and we will ensure that in no time we make doing business in this space as seamless as possible. Other countries in the region are also making this a priority, and so the Caribbean as a body can certainly, claim its space in the digital future, which is really now the digital present. And so the present, as well as the future, it looks bright to me, replete with opportunity and prosperity for young kings and queens who are absolutely creative, such as the Z Rise team. I commend your creativity. I commend your innovativeness and your entrepreneurial spirit. And I want the Z Rise team to keep the fire alive. Let your fire thrive as Z Rise continue to rise in the age of AI and digital technology. I thank you all for having me. Blessings, big up yourself, stay lit to every single one of you. Thank you.
Thank you, State Minister, or our lit boss. Big up yourself, Minister. And personally, having been in so many other spaces, whether it be in student leadership, I know that platforms like these, you're always super supportive, Minister. You're always there. You're always supporting young people and our ingenuity. And personally, and on behalf of the entire team at Z-Rise, I just want to say thank you. Big up yourself. And also, Minister, just go on with yourself, because you do a bag of things. And I just really wanted to commend you. So thank you so much, Minister. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're into now the next part of our segment. I did tell you that today we're learning about our brand. We're learning how to create content, secure the bag from that content, and of course, protecting our intellectual property. And I'm joined up here with two amazing, sensational, and razzle-dazzle queens. We have Kadia and we have Alicia. But I have to tell you a little bit about who these people are. So I'll start with Alicia Thorpe. She's a fast, young, and upcoming social influencer and model. She's currently a tourism student at the University of the Commonwealth Caribbean and is the host of a web fan-voted award show, Zine Choice Awards. And we have none other than Miss Kadia Francis. She is a digital literacy and skills development specialist and strategist. She's also the founder of One Digital Jamaica, Two Digital Disruption Agency, and when you think she couldn't get any better, she come again and she launched the Digital Awareness, Readiness, and Engagement Program, DARE. Ladies and gentlemen, Zoomland here, wherever you are, send up some love and some fire emojis for our two panelists, Kadia and Alicia, who'll be talking to us about how to earn from your brand. Ladies, welcome. I hope you're doing well.
Thanks for having me.
Our pleasure, of course. And I'm going to start with you, Kadia, and I want you to be real with us. You know, a lot of the times we're on forums and panels and people are selling false positivity or sugarcoating it for us, and we don't want that. Z-Rise is all about authenticity. And I want you to be authentic in this response and just really tell us what's the reality for young, aspiring Caribbean content creators who are really trying to earn from their brand. What am I go through?
I think, well, in terms of the possibilities,
Mm-hmm.
we can start with the possibilities. As far as I'm concerned, when it comes to digital platforms, and this has always been my message
Mm-hmm.
from the beginning, anything is possible in terms of what you can do, just putting yourself out there. And as far as I'm concerned, there are three things that you really need to be successful online: visibility, relevance, and timing.
No, repeat that again and go slow for us, please, Kadia.
So there are three things, as far as I'm concerned, you need to be successful in the digital space as a creator, especially as a creator. Visibility, you need to be seen.
Yes.
You need to be relevant to the audience that you're trying to get in front of.
Mm-hmm.
And timing is important.
Oh.
I would say there's a fourth, which is access,
Mm-hmm.
but timing and access is kind of part and parcel of the same thing.
All right.
So having all those three things in place, you're almost guaranteed that not only are you going to be out there and people are going to see or know who you are, but you're also creating opportunities for yourself by
Nice.
doing that. And Alicia is a prime example of all of that. But the reality is, it sounds sexy, it looks sexy, and certainly you see people like Rushcam, Quiet Perry, so. But they were doing it a long time before they became relevant.
So it's not an overnight thing.
It's not an overnight thing. It's a hard slog. Content creation is a B. It's hard. And sometimes you get frustrated by the entire process, right? So it's not as easy and as sexy as it looks. And overnight success took years.
Right.
So that's what I want people to understand. And there's certain things that you need to do on a consistent basis. And you need to be consistent, not just with the quality of your output,
Right.
but consistent in terms of what you're talking about, who you're talking to. There's so many other things involved, but my biggest thing is you have to be digitally literate.
No, what that mean though, Kadia? Me slow, me slow.
For the last couple of years, since COVID, everybody has been talking about digital. You know? Everybody wants to go online. We see our counterparts in different markets in the States,
Right.
etc., using these platforms and making a lot of money. And we see where they become so big that they've crossed over into traditional media spaces.
Right.
And we want to emulate that because our content is really popular online. Jamaican content
That's right, that's true.
is extremely popular online. The problem is we're not as digitally literate as they are. We're not a digital culture. That's just the truth. We're not a digital culture, and we're still learning.
Right.
But I think because we are so far behind the eight ball, I guess you want to call it, we have had to play catch up.
Oh.
And because we don't have access to a lot of the platforms and tools that they have access to, we have to do the go around thing. We'll find ways around things.
Right.
So not only do we have a problem with access, we also have a problem with our literacy. So for the last 2 years, I've been teaching and talking about this thing. And my biggest observation, which is why DARE became a thing,
Right.
my biggest observation is that we're not as digitally literate as we should be. Meaning, it's yes, or young people have access to smart devices and internet,
Yes.
and we automatically assume that that means they are digital literate.
So
and
it
they're
doesn't.
not.
So not because I'm on
No.
Facebook and Instagram, I don't. digitally-
Anybody can go on Facebook and post something,
Right.
but it's not just about posting. Knowing what to post and how that will affect you in the future is digital literacy.
Okay.
Knowing how to be secure and secure your personal information online is digital literacy. Knowing how to access information and know how to vet your sources online is digital literacy. So you have young people posting just about anything online, not knowing the consequences of it because they're not.
Digitally literate.
There you go. So it's almost as if we are applying all this knowledge on top of no foundation. So if there's no foundation of digital literacy, no matter what I sit here and tell you about how to monetize your brand and all of that, pretty soon that information is going to be irrelevant to
Right.
you because one, anything I tell you now in the next couple months probably won't even be the case because platform changes and the digital marketing space is so fluid, right? So things change. Instagram has completely shifted.
Right.
Just about everything. Instagram is almost unrecognizable to us these days. So, but if you are digitally literate,
Yes.
and you have that foundation there, it is easy, you're more flexible. It's easy for you to bend and shift and pivot. But if you're not digital literate and what you are is you are conditioned to do things a particular way because this is how this platform works and I'm just going to keep doing that over and over again. When the platform shifts, deer in headlights, you're stuck.
Right.
Because you don't have that foundation. So I would say start with the basics, the foundational stuff that are the basis of your knowledge, and then build on that. And that way you become flexible and you can pivot and change and even completely switch platforms
Right.
if needs be. But you can't do that if you're not.
Digitally literate.
There
Class
you
done. We can just go home after this because Katie, you're just taking away from you. But I want to really ask Alicia the same question, especially because you're young, you're in this space now. Can you perhaps just share with us the realities of what it means to be a young, aspiring Caribbean content creator who is really trying to earn from their brand?
Hello.
Hello.
Okay, so I recently started content creation professionally because I've been doing it for a while now, probably like from 2019. And I first got my recognition from Digital Jamaica.
Ooh, look at
right?
that.
Yes, but before but before that, I really put in a lot of hard work. And back then, it wasn't that famous now because now everyone wants to be, oh, I want to take pictures because you just take pictures and make videos, you know? But I've always aspired to be in front of the camera because it was inspired by my family. So it was the space at the time. They didn't really accept me. My school was like, oh, she's so cringe. Like, oh, who posts videos? But yeah.
But look at you now. So, Abby, look at that.
But right now, being a Caribbean creator in the space, I would say that it's hard work for us.
Yes.
But I feel like it's worth it in the long run, even though you might have some family members or persons that don't support you at the moment. When you're trying, they don't want to support you.
So you're out there taking your
Right.
pictures, you're doing your video, good quality, you're digitally literate, as Katie has said, but your family not really support. People don't support you, really?
No. I didn't say people don't support me. I'm saying that you'll have some
You have-
persons
okay.
that won't support you until they see you putting something
Oh,
through.
so when you're bossing, you're big
Yes.
now, everybody want to come and take pics.
Yes.
All right.
They're like, oh, yes, this is my cousin. Oh, this is my friend. I know her from Queens. I'm like, do you though? But yes.
So what I'm getting, hard work, consistency, being digitally literate, and having the foundation, because as Katie rightly said, you can keep building and building and building, but if you haven't really gotten the essence of what it means to, as Katie said, be visible, really, it's not going to be as impactful. I'm going to stick with you on this one, Alicia. I want you to kind of tell me, what are some of the current ways that Caribbean creators can earn directly from your content? So you're being digitally literate, you're doing all the things that Katie is saying, and you're putting in the hard work as you rightly intimated. How can I know secure the bag from all the content I've been putting out there?
There's so many ways to
Tell us
earn
more.
money on the internet, right? So you know that you can monetize through YouTube, right? being an Instagram or Instagram model or influencer, you can earn money by creating content for brands.
So me can go
Right.
like a sheen top and one like a bag and get through.
Yes, you know that you can continue to be consistent so they can see you, because a lot of persons out there that want to model for Shein, Fashion Nova, and all the other big brands, you have to make something. You have to make your brand unique and authentic to yourself.
Okay.
Make Shein look at you and be like, why would I choose you over somebody else? Right? Another way that you can monetize is by, having your website. You post your blog. You can be like, okay, I don't want to be on YouTube that much. I want to
Right.
write. You write about your skincare routine.
People
right?
pay for that?
No, you earn money through Google AdSense.
So me over here with love write, because I'm a law student, I would do a write and read cases. But I can write about perhaps, what it means to be a festival queen, and people can actually pay
Yes.
money, and I get
Yes,
that.
because another way you can monetize through that also is that if you create a platform like your website and it generates a lot of viewers, persons can pay you to be featured on your website. So if there's an upcoming model, for example, if I want to create a modeling website, other models can reach out to me and be like, hey, Alicia, I heard that you're featured models on your website. Can I get featured? I'm like, yeah, sure, $10. Whatever. Something like that you can also do. Other from creating content for brands, you can get monetized by, the regular brand ambassadorship.
Right.
And yeah,
That's about
that's about
Well,
that.
I've been sleeping on my potential right now because look like I could have secured my tuition for NMLS from now. If I
Yes.
just write blogs
Yes.
and all of that. But Kay, do you have anything different to add, or any other ways I could perhaps earn an income from content creation?
Okay, so I'm gonna be the party pooper here.
Lord God.
Everything Alicia said is so. And going back to you and your fellow law.
I
yeah.
saw your profile LinkedIn.
Yeah, not using my law degree, but that's for another time. But I'm gonna be the party pooper here and say that a lot of persons, and I'm
Yep.
I-
Yeah.
You're calling
a lot of you that are watching are probably not ready to monetize.
That's so true.
You're probably not ready to monetize. Your content is probably not monetizable at this point.
So what is monetizable
Okay.
content then?
Meaning that one, you've not gotten into, first of all, I don't think as a young creator especially, you should be rushing to monetize.
Yes,
Oh.
that's
Alicia
so
is
true.
different because Alicia also models. So she's not just an Instagram influencer. She actually work as a model. Yeah, them appear good money for pose. Right. So in that way, she has, there's another layer to what she does.
Oh, and I can supplement what she's doing now.
Right. And it's something, it's another way for her to create content,
Right.
interesting. Who doesn't like models? Models
Right,
have
that's
always
true.
been interesting,
Everyone
right?
likes models.
And she's young and she's gorgeous and she's
Thank
intelligent,
you.
clearly, right?
Yes.
Clearly she knows what she's doing. So she has multiple ways of getting into a space, becoming visible in the space, relevant
Look at
in the
that.
space, and creating opportunities for herself.
Right.
That is when you become monetizable. So and Alicia didn't start out like this. I remember you just starting out. So there was a lot of experimentation
Right.
that you need to do when you're just starting out, because you may think, okay, I want to start out talking about X, and then you realize that ain't nobody care about X. Nobody, ain't
So
nobody
wait, it can change as time
Nobody
goes
wants to hear
by?
about that.
Yes, just like
And then-
Instagram algorithm, it constantly
Yeah.
changes. You gotta adjust yourself.
you have to
that,
adjust,
You know?
and then sometimes it's not that nobody cares about X. It's maybe how you're delivering it that nobody really cares about. So the time you should spend some time experimenting with your niche, with the subject matter, the way you deliver, all of that. And I always say, look on what the foreign people them a do. Look on what the white people them are foreign a do, because they're a lot of the times they're the innovators in it. I mean, they created these platforms.
That's true,
Right? So
yes.
they're usually the ones innovating in this space. Look at what non-Jamaican, non-Caribbean people are doing and teeth it. And I'm serious. I'm not we don't need
I
to
mean,
be
they do it to us all the
We
time.
we don't
inspired.
need to reinvent wheels. Look at what them are doing, and if it's in a niche or if you know that you have a certain level of grasp on the subject matter, or a certain comfort level talking about this thing or engaging with this thing,
Right.
even if you don't and you just want to go along for the journey, because you talked about being a law student,
Yes.
you could have a blog about being a law student.
Look at that.
Exactly, because that's your space. That's something
Yes.
you'll be comfortable talking about. There are law students all over the place who need a corner because the amount of nervous breakdowns I went through
Preach it, Katie.
during my law degree, I wish there was a space. But experiment, and then build your community. Because your community is also what makes you monetizable. Alicia has a huge community.
Stop it.
You do. She does. She has a huge community.
All my Alimaniacs love you guys.
There you go. So build your community. I think we rush to talk about monetization, but we don't talk about the building blocks to get to monetization, which is not necessarily perfecting your content,
Right.
but make your content as good as it can possibly be. The delivery, even if it means you have to script your content. A lot of the content you see on YouTube is scripted. It may not look scripted, but it is hella scripted. Right? It is scripted. It is well written. The quality is there.
Yes.
Quality in delivery is there. The consistency of putting out the content is there. And they have a community that is pushing them
Right.
no matter where they go. And when Alexia and Bonita come on and talk about NFTs, that's another space too. As an artist, you have to have your community behind you, pushing you, because they're the ones who are going to buy your
That's
NFT.
true. Yeah.
Right? They're the ones who are going to buy your content. They're the ones who are going to consume the content.
Right.
So you have to make sure that you're building up your community and stuff. And then when people start calling and say, hey, Kitty, do you want to come and talk at Z-Rise Lounge? You don't say your boss.
Yeah.
And you're ready for monetize now. So Jean-Claude may have a conversation after this. So that's when you know, when people are beginning to recognize you in that space.
Right.
Talk about you in that space. Push your content around, then you know that, okay, then
You're ready to monetize.
I am ready. And now the content and your platform is starting to create opportunities almost automatically.
Right.
That's so true.
Almost, it's like automated now, right? That's when you know you're monetizable. Half of y'all ain't monetizable at this point. I'm sorry.
So don't rush
Just
the
not-
process,
Don't
guys.
rush the process. Experiment. Have as much as you can have fun creating content, which is not fun, but experiment as much as possible. And another thing, don't be afraid to reach out to people who already boss and ask them to
say
come
that
on your
again.
platform.
Definitely.
I feel like we have this mindset where we have to all struggle alone. If Katie has been
No.
paving the way and Alicia's been doing well, why not DM them? Why you don't just send a tweet and say, hey, can you help me? Repeat that one
It's
for
not
us.
even, can you help me? More your power platform, come talk to the people them and make me look nice. Ask. You always ask. Because that's one thing I've realized, and I can say this to you because I have done this exact same thing, which is exactly why I'm sitting here, right? Ask people, and this is where the visibility and the relevance come in. Once people start recognize you as, okay, this is Katie, this is what Katie usually
Right.
talks about, and if I want somebody to talk about this, she sound like she has sense, make a call her and ask her to talk about it. Same like how you guys could have reached out to me and say, hey,
Yes.
I can reach out to anybody and say, hey, listen, I'm talking about this. I think you're the perfect person to talk about it. Would you mind coming on my platform? Now, Digital Jamaica is still a relatively small platform. And I've had the who is who of who on that platform talking to me about all sorts of different things, right? And it's only because, one, I made a conscious effort to build my community,
Right.
build a relationship with the thought influencers or the key opinion leaders in the space. A key
Right.
opinion leader and a thought influencer is two different things, but that's a different day, right? The key opinion leaders are thought influencers and the persons who are industrialists. I've made a point of reaching out to them,
Yes.
following them, engaging. So when it's time for me to beg things,
You can beg it and get it.
me not feel bad if I beg it.
Can I add on that?
Absolutely.
Okay, so like you have persons who want to become influencer or they are a micro influencer or
Right.
whatever. And
What's
they
a
feel
micro-influencer?
like an
Oh,
influencer.
they're the
that-
ones making all the money these days.
What?
that's so true.
Yeah, it's true. They're the
But
ones making all
to
the
add
money.
on that, like they're afraid to reach out to the person. I think it's cringe. Like, ew, why would I want to reach out to that person? But I had to reach out to a lot of persons
Right.
and got rejected a lot of times. When I first got the opportunity, I made a YouTube video about getting recognition for the first time by Digital Jamaica. It was just a life-changing experience for me, and I feel like more persons should really come out to ask other persons, like, how did you do this?
Right.
Watch talk shows like this, you know what I'm saying? Like, continue to ask for help. It's hard because
Yes.
some people feel like, I can do this all by myself. You can't do it all by yourself.
I always say people shoot your shot professionally.
That's
If
so
you
true.
know somebody who's doing great things and in the space, why you go sitting over there and I struggle? Ask Alicia, ask Katie, and
Know how
digitally
to
literate.
ask, though.
I know, yeah, that's right.
No offer big. Yeah, you have to know. You have to know offer.
Yeah, you have some person text and be like, give me one shout out now.
Yeah.
No, not like that.
No.
We're gonna have manners and we're gonna be polite.
Don't spammers. don't come across spammy to people. But us.
Yeah, but and you know, as we're talking about asking, I really want to also pinpoint from here now, Alicia. I want you to kind of tell us perhaps how can Z-Link, because you know this is why we're here today. How can Z-Link help Caribbean creators to earn from their brand?
How can Z-Link help Caribbean creators to earn from their
Yes,
brand?
ma'am.
Okay, so based on what I've read, it's going to provide the platform for creators to come and co-create content with their community.
Right.
I'm assuming that's brands, right? So I feel like it would be a great space for brands, for brands, and also models or creators to have that connection
Right.
where you can see brands that you'd want to work with that match your aesthetic or what you're about, and give you that perfect place where you can communicate and get your brand sponsorships completed, right? Because I feel like on Instagram, it's always changing, and I feel like it's harder to reach out to brands via email or even DM.
Right.
Right? And worse, if you're not providing content that matches their brand, they won't even pay attention to you. Right? So I feel like build your platform professionally on Z-Link, and the brands reach out to you, reach out to your brand, you make your money, and I will call that a day.
Love that. I know we're a little bit pressed for time, but Katie, I have to ask you the same question. You know, how can Z-Link perhaps help these content creators, you know, to create their content and earn from their brand?
The one thing I hope with this platform, because there have been other platforms and there need to be more platforms that are directly targeting creators, and I suppose it's because you guys see the potential of what is possible and what
Right.
can happen. And what I'm hoping is that Z-Link also has an element of learning, that a part of it is educational, teaching creators how to actually again stay consistent, teaching them the fundamentals of what is the creator economy, how it works, and how you can actively and successfully participate in it. So I'm hoping a part of this platform is also the educational, not just the sexy part, but the tough hard work. It's like being a model. When you just get into the space, there's a lot of training. Them have to teach you
Hard
how
work.
to walk and how to hold your head,
Right.
and how to kimber and wear the clothes. So there's a lot of training that happens before you hit that catwalk.
Yes.
Right? So I'm hoping that an element of this is training for Caribbean creators, because it is absolutely necessary, because even though we are limited in terms of our access to the platforms that we do have access to, we're still not optimizing or maximizing those platforms either. We're
Right.
nowhere near maximizing the platforms, but we want Instagram shop. You don't even know if you take a picture of your item, but you want Instagram shop. So I'm saying, I'm hoping that a part of it is educational,
Right.
because I think that is going to make the difference between all the other platforms that are coming up talking to creators and Z-Link.
You know, Alicia and Katie, you know, I think we could perhaps conclude here, but I know Jean-Claude would have my head for that because that's not a part of the show. But I really want to thank you. As somebody who is very novel in this space, I learned so much. You guys broke it down for me. I know what a micro-influencer is. I know that I can blog about what happens to me over at Norma Manley when I go, and I can perhaps get money from that. But I also appreciate how real it was, because as I said, this is a conversation people need to hear, not about the sexy things, but the fundamental building blocks, the consistency, the hard work, being digitally literate, know how to take a picture with your phone for post on Instagram before you want to be brand ambassador, because that doesn't work. That's not cute, sis. But you know, Katie and Alicia, thank you so much for your drive, your creativity, coming here and being all about digital media, creativity, and all that jazz. And it's continuing to shine. At your
For sure.
Thank you so much.
I mean,
I
Jamaican
love it.
content creators are absolutely amazing. As I said, our content is
Yes.
extremely popular. I think the more we perfect it is the more we can then demand from these platforms.
Agreed.
Right now, we're not in a position to demand.
But we're going to work on it because we're going to be
Yes.
digitally literate.
But then that's what Z-Link is here for, right?
Absolutely.
Ah, there you go, there you go, there.
And ladies, thank you so much. I really,
You're
really do
welcome.
appreciate it. And I know all of those who are watching in Zoomland and on our virtual platforms appreciate it just as much. Well, guys, we're going into the next segment. But of course, we're going into the next segment, and that's going to be moderated by Jean-Claude. He is, of course, the brainchild behind all of this. Just before he comes, I just want to big up all of our sponsors, the people who made this possible: Fidelity Motors, Goodard Enterprises Limited, Rev Up Caribbean, DIA Lab, Caribbean Optimist, Paris Ruby Cakes, Electroville, Emerge Multimedia, Shendrick Distributors, and SG Production. Big up on yourself and go stars for you. So we're moving into our next segment, and we're going to have our presenters come up in the stage just for a minute. Thank you so much, ladies. You're welcome.
Thank you.
All right there.
good night, good night, good night again to all those joining us virtually. Those here physically, a special welcome again to our next discussion. Um, we're here today. I'm Jean-Claude, by the way, the founder of Z-Rise, and we're here today talking about content creators, the creative ecosystem of the Caribbean, and just the opportunities for creators to earn from their brand. Now we're here with Alexia James and Bonito. That's the founder of Don Dada. I'm very into that, and we're going to get into a lot of stuff about NFTs and just how creators from the Caribbean can use NFTs to actually make money, but also protect their intellectual property. Both guests are really well versed in the whole NFT space. They've launched a collection. Bonita actually has a sold out NFT collection, and he's from Jamaica. Can you believe that? Sold out NFT collection. We want to get into that, and they have, he's an excellent AR artist, and I know Alexia is just all about the digital space and empowering creatives to actually take that leap, develop a marketable brand, and of course move into monetization. So we're about to get into it, and just let them introduce themselves.
Thanks for that. So hi, good night, everybody. So I'm Alexia James. So I know we're here to just talk about tech and NFTs. And I know that Z-Rise is a Jamaican-based company, and we were talking about the Caribbean earlier, but of course we can't talk about the Caribbean without mentioning creators in other countries and other people. So of course you hear my accent, you know, can hear I'm from Trinidad and Tobago. And my favorite thing about this space, not just in terms of the region, is just how the overall decentralization of the ecosystem just creates borderless everything, from economies, from finance, from creativity to connection to networks to businesses. And I think that's probably the most unique thing about it, and just the space in terms of opportunity as well. So I know we're gonna jump to Bonito and his collection, for sure, in terms of that. But I'm just really excited for persons to have the knowledge, because that's the main thing for anything in terms of tech and anything that's new. The barrier that stops most people is understanding, it's awareness, it's being, how do I even do this, what does this even mean? So really just take any time to have these conversations and to provide the information to these people to say, hey, the talents that you have, you can turn it into X to
and
do
that's why conversations like these are so important. So after Bonita goes, we're going to get right into it.
Hi, good night. So just to introduce myself, my name is Bonita Thompson. I go by the artist name Don Dada, and that's the name of the overall brand as well. What I do is I'm an augmented reality artist that makes content that's focused on dancehall culture, Jamaican pop culture. And I also, so it's AR works. It's all for the culture. The works literally like come to life because there's a QR code in them. So when you scan it, it launches off the canvas.
Really cool.
Yeah.
It's really dope.
All of the pieces are 10 pieces in the collection, and all of them were minted as NFTs, and all of them they have owners all around the world, which I'm grateful
here's
for.
My question now. So you were a creator before you got into NFTs.
Yeah.
So before we even get into what that journey was like, what is an NFT?
An NFT, it's a non-fungible token. It's literally how you show ownership. The basics of it is that it basically functions as a receipt.
Right.
So when you purchase a digital asset online, it comes in the form of an NFT, and that just proves that you own it in the simple form.
And I think that is very important, because with the rave going on right now, you see the artworks, and you see people saying the artworks are NFTs. That's only one application of the technology, and that's an important distinction. Now, I want you to tell me a bit before we get to Alexia. So you were a creator before you got into NFTs. When you got introduced to NFTs, I can assume that there was a general stigma. Probably you were a bit curious about what this is, but you were also cautious. So what was that process like from using your creativity and actually making it into an NFT?
I mean, when I heard about NFTs, I was more excited about it, just because of everything. They said that you get royalties from it. Which artist not gonna want that, you know? Like the same concept in music, when a musician records a song and drops that, you get paid royalties. That works with your art.
Yeah.
You know, normally for an artist, if you only make money on the initial sale usually. you know, and then the collector for that would take it and go to some agency and have some big sale, not agency, some gallery, have some big auction, and you see your work selling for like 100 mil, 20 mil, and you don't get nothing from it. So with NFTs, it literally just balance that. Wherever the work sell at any point, anytime, you as a creator, like you'll just wake up and see money deposited in your account. If you have a good like resale market space.
So I want to know, and I'm going to ask Alexia this, because I want you to take the perspective of someone who's not necessarily a creator. I know you're creative, but let us say you are not a creator. And based on what Bonita said, the main reason why he gravitated towards NFTs was the fact that he could earn from the guarantee that it will always be known that this is his work, right? That IP protection on the blockchain. Now I want you to tell me, why is it important because I know you work with creatives, why is it important for creatives to consider the blockchain and NFTs as a way for protecting their intellectual property? And Kadia is very well versed in that. There are so many other ways, so many institutions that you can use to protect your intellectual property. But what is the major difference with NFTs?
Wait, but the main distinction I would make is you don't utilize an NFT per se to have that main staple be to protect your intellectual property. That's more a byproduct of the technology itself in terms of you having control of your intellectual property. And I know we're talking about the creators here and the artists, but there are also other people that fall in the ecosystem of NFTs. So if you're a collector, because I know Bonito explained a non-fungible token, all this, but I always like to bring it down to a granular level to look at it as this is like your digital stock that you own. It might be art, it might be video, it might be music.
And that word is important, stock.
Those are all the spectrums of what NFTs can be. Yeah. But when you look at it as a stock that you own on the blockchain, then you get it from the collector standpoint, from a person who, you may not be an artist or a creator working in AR, but you could buy these things and you can hold these things and you could build portfolios off of these things and make a lot of money and create wealth that you never even thought possible through these things as well. So just to also look at it from that perspective in terms of as a collector, as a brand, as an entity, like we've seen so many brands join the space within the last 6 to 9 months, in terms of Tiffany, in terms of Adidas, in terms of Nike, in terms of all these platforms. Decentraland also had its own fashion week this week where you saw brands do fashion weeks within the metaverse, and even one of the Caribbean brands, Wildflower, that we're part of a community of, they were one of the only Caribbean brands to showcase within the metaverse as well. So just thinking from it from a business standpoint as well, and just those entities. But to bring it back to the intellectual property side, yes, you can control your intellectual property through minting and through the smart contracts that are basically the backbone of the tech in terms of NFTs. Because you could also, in a later standpoint, give your holders the intellectual property rights to sell your NFTs, to create brands from your NFTs, which we saw CryptoPunks do recently, which we saw the overall Yoga Lab purchase and acquisition of CryptoPunks. So there's like a lot of other intricacies that you can do in terms of just providing value and utility to holders. I know I'm giving a lot of information here, but we have to just share the other information. Like, it's not just the novelty of cool, this NFT thing, blah, blah, but like really just taking it so much deeper in terms of the information.
I mean, you're very, it's a lot. And as you throwing around some terms, blockchain, metaverse, smart contract, and I mean, it's a lot. And here's a question. And I want Bonito to address it first, and then you can go back. With all that lovely tech stuff, I know the average creator might not necessarily understand that from the jump. Was that discouraging for you? And if so, how did you overcome that challenge to actually start creating with NFTs?
I mean, it is a lot, yes. But at the end of the day, you really just have to like do your own research, educate yourself. Because it's also new, you know. There are people who like when them see something new, they get afraid, them step back from it. And then there are other persons when them see a new thing, like they just dive into it, you know. So for me, when I just heard about it, it was all just like educating myself, not really rushing into the space to say, oh, NFTs, let me just mint and drop something. I wanted to make sure that anything that goes out is a thoughtful project and that like it has real weight and, you know, value behind it. So it took a lot to really just like educate myself, get all the necessary setups, you know,
Right,
your
right.
wallet, you get ETH, get onto the different sites or whatever. So it's really just a matter of like research. It's new, so it's gonna be daunting, and there's gonna be things that you don't understand.
Yeah.
But just by doing the research, going on Twitter, just looking up NFTs and see what people talking about, joining like some of the Caribbean groups, you really get to understand more.
Yeah.
And the community is also very just like opening and welcoming. So you can just send a message to somebody. If you see them always tweeting about something and you want to know what it is, just respond or message them. They're gonna give
Yeah.
you the information.
And I mean that message has been reiterated. You literally need to just take the leap if you want to do something. Literally,
Just do it.
Just do it, and take the necessary steps to learn about it. And now back to you, Alexia. Based on what Bonita said,
Yeah, I wanted to add to it a bit because I know he said like do your own research, but in terms of the overall drop that we did for Don Dada, it was really a team, and I think that's such an important thing to note right now because I think any artist or any creative who's just looking to drop an NFT collection, you need to come at it as a founder, as a startup, as a business, because even though it might be cool you're just dropping art, it's still to think about the long term because at the end of the day, these people are investing in you when they purchase your token, when they purchase your NFT. And it's not, you can mint something for really low, like maybe $100, $200, but at the end of the day, you're trying to get it back. You're trying to sell something and get a lot of value in it. So you also have to think about what value you're giving back to people in terms of your holders. And I think as much as like do your own research, like building your team and having people who don't know what you don't know and they know, like bringing them on. I think that was something really important that we did. So we had another advisor on our team who just helped us a lot in terms of navigating the space and different things that we need to know. And even for bigger projects, like a project I'm on now, that's a 10K PFP collection that's going to be minted, having developers. And that's where I learn a lot because as Katie was saying earlier, I think it's probably even worse in the NFT space. Things change every second, every minute, every day. There's new tech, new technology because it's so early. So people are just building and innovating on top of everything. And you realistically can't know everything. So being able to have people on your team that you could pull from to give different assets is really important too. So definitely just building out your team and connecting with people to just help you.
and I mean that word is very important. And I want to take this opportunity to big up the Z-Rise team, big up our sponsors, but especially big up to those in the production, big up to Sachin, big up to Tavares, big up to Shemar, big up to Emerge, big up for making all this possible. As Alexia said, it's literally the work of a team. Nothing can be done alone. Now, here is my next question leading on to closing. I know you guys said research is important, doing your own research. But I also know that you guys are in the business of educating persons about NFTs, actually helping them and empowering creatives to take their work from just creating and infusing it with NFTs. Give me some actionable steps to not only learn, but to actually start doing something with NFTs as a creator.
I'll let Bonita go and I'll go.
All right, actionable steps, where to start? I would say Twitter, definitely start there. There are a couple of Caribbean groups. Help me with this. Huh?
But I mean, you said
There are a
Twitter.
couple of
What
Caribbean
should I do on Twitter?
Yeah.
What should I do on Twitter?
So look up NFT on Twitter.
So
Look
like I
up
can literally
Halik. There are a
just use
couple
the
of
hashtag.
there are a couple of
Alright.
creators that you should definitely follow. There's Halik Mall on Twitter. He's amazing. Like he makes music NFTs. He's from Barbados, right? He's one of the top selling like NFT artists in the Caribbean right now.
Right.
There's a artist from Trinidad. His name is Nicholas Huggins. Like he has a banner project, NFT project, and he does this really cool like series of illustrations with houses, but they're in letters.
That's interesting.
Yeah, so and it fuses like Caribbean culture with the NFT space. That's
Right.
super cool. You can follow him as well and get a bunch of just like other content just from what he posts and retweets.
And I mean,
There
just in
is-
case you guys might not remember everything, just follow Bonita and Alexia, and they'll get you in touch.
Yeah. On Instagram, you can also look up like Wildflower. That's an NFT project from Trinidad. Same one that Alexia mentioned earlier, that
Lovely.
they were
will she
they
tell us
were
a little bit more
literally
about that?
they were literally like they were a part of the Metaverse Fashion Week that's happening right now. You know, and it's the first of its kind. So it's just like super crazy, breaking down barriers in new places. So yeah, follow a bunch of those artists, and then from there you just notice that other content starts to come up. You know, research like setting up your wallet. MetaMask is one of the best ones to start with. Depending on where you are in the Caribbean, it might be a bit different for you to like connect your bank account to your MetaMask and start buying crypto. So that's something that you have to look into for your region. But yeah, once you have your MetaMask, once you're able to buy crypto, you can look at OpenSea. That's one of the platforms that's just like open to the public. Anybody can go on and just start creating NFTs and dropping them. There are other sites like a Foundation or a Super Rare that it's a little different to get onto. One of them, for Super Rare, you have to submit requests. You have to fill out a form and thing.
Yeah.
For Foundation, you have to get somebody to send you an invite.
So it's a lot. It's really a whole
Not
lot.
really, you know. It's just it's taking a bunch of different real world concepts and just fusing everything into one.
Okay.
You know, so literally like when Alexia is saying, if you think of it like a stock that merges a bunch of different aspects of life into one thing, it's the same thing. We're just using different words. You know, like when you say you need a MetaMask wallet, it's just like your actual wallet in real life where you store your real money. It's just that now it's digital currency.
So let me hear what Alexia has to say about the next steps.
So if you're on Instagram right now, you could actually go in my bio and you would see my link tree. So I have a guide there which is called the NFT Guide for Caribbean, for being in the Caribbean, which really just puts everything in one place for you, from opening your wallet, from knowing which banks and which credits or debit cards work to buy crypto, knowing which third-party platforms to utilize to buy crypto, because as a lot of you may know, you actually cannot buy crypto in the Caribbean just like that. Our banking infrastructure literally does not allow it. So that's one thing to know. So you actually have to use third-party platforms to purchase cryptocurrency, which is, of course, a barrier to entry for us. But third-party platforms like Kraken and CXIO you can utilize. And also Coinbase is available for Jamaicans. So that's also something, once they roll out Coinbase NFT, that will be available to us as well. But that guide really puts everything in there, from creators internationally, regionally, and locally to follow and interact with, from understanding the marketplaces. So Bonita was talking about OpenSea, he was talking about Foundation, Super Rare. And those are more like high-end platforms. That's why they require the invites, because it's more heavily created, whereas OpenSea is just like the open marketplace, hence the name OpenSea. And there's some others as well. But I think that's really the best place to start, because even though, there's Twitter, like, it can really be inundating. Like when you go on Twitter or you go on Instagram and you search the hashtag, you're just seeing a bunch of things and you don't really know one place to start to really give you like your key points. But like the main things I would tell everybody to start with is your wallet, which would be your MetaMask. There are also other wallets. Understanding how to purchase cryptocurrency. Understanding never to share your seed phrase, which of course MetaMask will take you through. Never share it. Never put it online. Don't put it on notes. Write it down on a piece of paper. And then of course the platforms, and understanding your gas price and your mint prices, and then why you're buying a project, why you like this project, why you like this artist's work, what are they doing that connects with you, that makes you feel to spend this money, to have it, you know. So it's not as hard as and fast as like, okay, I'm buying this because I'm trying to flip or I'm trying to make money, but do you like this? Do you like this work of art? Do you like this message, this project, this team, these people, you know? And I think that's one of the things that we need to come back to. Because I know Katie was talking about it earlier in terms of community, and I think for the NFT space, community is even bigger than the Web2 space. Web2 is just like the typical what internet is now in terms of social media and that thing. But your community and how you support them, how you uplift people, how you show up in terms of authenticity is on such another level in terms of like the Web3 space, because there's so many projects coming out now, and it's just a cash grab. Like people just want to mint and they want to make a lot of money, but they're not thinking about the long term, which is why I mentioned that earlier, to think about whatever you're doing as a creator from a long term perspective of building something for the long term. So,
And I mean, you mentioned stocks. It's literally like an investment. And just to say, the intent here is not necessarily to tell you everything about NFTs because we simply cannot do that in such a short space of time.
Possible.
Yeah, but it's to whet your appetite, like this is the future. Like it or not, and you might not believe that the current application will be the best, but the fundamental technology behind everything happening right now in the NFT space is the future. And as we come down to closing now, I want to ask, because if you listened, you get an understanding that not everything that is happening out there is accessible for Caribbean creators, right? I mean, the financial institutions don't necessarily enable us to take part in this. And I want to hear both your thoughts on what you want to see coming out of the Caribbean in terms of platforms, in terms of community, in terms of education. What are your expectations, and what do you believe is necessary to actually enable Caribbean creators to be a part of this revolution?
So I think definitely starting with education in terms of just awareness. I don't think a lot of people think we need our own platforms or our own marketplaces to kind of show up, but I don't think we do. I think our culture and our overall brand, just they're able to show up on an international platform and make ourselves be as loud as any other project or any other person in the space. So it's to make sure that we are actually being strategic in terms of the projects that we're doing and not just doing it to do it, so that when we do come out, it's not crap, it's not fun. You know what I mean? We're not rugging ourselves in terms of just what we're putting out, but really just take any time to be strategic with the go-to-market strategy of any project that's going out there. Because as you've seen, like, what I hope some people have seen, like with Crypto Rastas, it literally is embedded on Jamaican culture and reggae, and the team is from Brazil. I know the team, they're amazing guys, but that's still almost cultural appropriation in a sense, and an opportunity that Jamaicans did not get to be a part of, somebody else executed. So when you don't have that information, it's going to continue. There are going to be other people that leverage brands and entities and cultural representations within this region because we don't know how to take advantage of the opportunity. We're not using the skill sets and the means to take advantage of the opportunity. So that's really the main thing I want to see in terms of people being strategic and just thinking about it from how can I show up just as good as the Bored Apes? How can I show up just as good as any other project, regardless of where I come from? You know, so I think that's like the most important message. And as much as we have the banks and we have all of that, like where there's a will, there's a way. And there's the diaspora and the people all over the world that we've met that are from this region that are willing to support and just lend support. So don't ever look at the barriers as like, okay, cool, I'm just going to stop and not even try. So
Bonita, and just add to Alexia, but I also want you to take a different perspective, no? Because you're a creator. And the thing I've understood about your brand is that you really like to focus on quality, right? And if you look in the NFT space now, there are a lot of works that are coming out that is literally, it's not appealing. Why would I take my money? And as Alexia said, it's a stock. Why would I put my money on that stock when it's not even visually appealing? So I want you to talk a bit about what you expect Caribbean creators to do, but also what you expect the different institutions in the region to do to facilitate what Caribbean creators need to do.
So that's an interesting question. What do I expect Caribbean creators to do? Just be authentic. Really, I think the main thing about it is like, as a creator, once you're making work that you know is true to yourself, you're not gonna cut on quality. Because within yourself, you know when you do something that is not your best work. You know, so just stay true to yourself, do your best work, and just keep trying to improve on whatever you do. So if yesterday you do a piece and you feel like say it not quite reach, tomorrow you do whatever you think you need to do to make it 100. You don't stop until you feel like your work is where it should be for you. Outside of that, for corporate, or what I would love to see like a bigger push behind or just support is for corporates to just continue and further just like provide platforms or help other artists just come into the space and be able to make work. So you see like where Kingston Creative is creating a space for artists to come and just make money from your work and
Yeah.
then give you that link from an artist to like corporate Jamaica so you can start working with other brands
Yeah.
and build out further. I would love to see more things like that
And I
because
mean,
there
that's
are a
what
lot of
Z-Rise is here for.
there you go,
Yes, sir.
exactly. Right?
Yeah.
Because there are lots of talent and there's a lot of just amazing artists, but they just don't have that platform or that access, you know? So it's really just to tighten that gap between the artists and corporate because I also believe that a lot of artists can make that connection, you know,
Yeah.
like you do your work and you find a brand that matches with your essence, your style, you know, and then who knows, you end up doing like a quarterly campaign,
Yeah.
you know, do a product, a design that just becomes like their overall marketing campaign for the next year. That's
Yeah.
big and that's your work, you know, and I'd love to see more artists do that because it is possible. When you look at what's happening in the international space, you're seeing it, you know, even locally you see. There's an artist, New Warhol,
Yeah.
that did Pepsi's like rebrand the other day locally. You know, with the illustrations, like any store that you go right now, you see Pepsi, you see like some cool illustrations and stuff. That's a local artist, you know. But it's just for more people like that to just get access.
So the important word there is access. Essentially that link. And I want to tell you that's what Z-Link is here for.
See there?
Right. So Bonito, final words. Something you want to say to a creator who literally been seeing this thing about NFTs, wondering what is NFTs. Like, just give them that pep talk.
Just do it.
As simple as that.
Okay, so nothing else.
Just
Just do it.
do
like research it. Everybody that we mentioned that you should follow them.
Yeah.
You know, go on Alexia's page. You go see the full NFT guide. Like there's
Yeah.
charts.
You can even
There's
like
graphs.
a guide, a whole
Like,
guide.
Somebody literally did the thinking for you and
Yeah.
compiled it in one space, and all you have to do is
Yeah.
just go on there and follow the people that you say follow, and then just immerse yourself in the space.
And that word is
Like,
important, immersion.
Yeah, learning while you're doing it is way more valuable than
Yeah.
you just reading it and then storing that information because you don't put action to it, so it don't really sink in.
Yeah.
So the concepts are gonna feel vague if you're not literally working on it. So yeah, just
So,
do
so,
it.
so in Bonito's words,
Just do it.
Do it.
Or Nikes.
That's what I was about to say.
Not really.
Right, so
Nike hit
Alexia.
me up for the brand collab.
For me, I know we're just talking about the overall space itself, but I just wanted to tap on to what Bonito was saying in terms of the brand collaborations aspect, because
Yeah.
of course, I'm at an agency right now, so even speaking from the brand aspect, people can't work with you if they don't know you exist. So you need to
That's true.
actively be putting your work out there
Yeah.
and utilizing platforms like Z-Link to share and showcase your work. The thing about Jamaica and just Jamaican brands, people reuse the same thing over and over again in terms of from people to brands to creatives.
Yeah.
So if you're doing something that's out of the box and shaking up the space, eyes are going to come to you if it's out there. Don't just think because this person is doing it or that person is doing it that there's no room for you to also do it
Yeah.
better and do something even more innovative. Like put your work out there, make a portfolio, tweet it, Instagram it, all of that. So that's the thing I'll say there. And then in terms of the NFT space, dive into it, learn, don't feel intimidated by jargons and blockchain and crypto and Ethereum. No, just take a step back and actually give yourself the chance to learn
Yeah.
something new. Every single thing that we interact with would have been new at some point, but you took the time to engage with it, to
Yeah.
learn about it, and apply yourself to it. So that's all I'll say there.
And I mean, that brings us to the end of this lovely discussion. And then just to reiterate some of the most important points, as Bonita and Nike said, just do it. Right? Just do it. And if you're wondering how to do it, guess what? Your girl Alexia has created an entire guide on NFT. Like, wow, Bonita said there are charts in there. Wow. Wow, that's a lot. Now, as we close this discussion, I really want to thank you guys, and I'm just putting it out there. Z-Rise has a creative discussion series, and the engagement does not stop here. We want to continue with the push to empower creatives. We are going to continue with the push, and we want to collaborate with persons like both you guys who have not only the knowledge but also the experience to not only show others how it can be done, but also to encourage them to literally Just do it. Literally. Now, we're going to take a short break, and when we come back, we'll wrap up. Again, thank you, Alexia. Thank you, Bonita. This was
Thanks
such
for having
an
us.
engaging discussion. And remember, guys, just do it. And there's a guide.
There's a guide.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm so happy to be here. And of course, I know you had an amazing discussion with Jean-Claude all about NFTs. Now, we're going back a little bit earlier because we have to talk to one of our special guests, none other than Javon Gordon. But of course, who is Javon, you may ask? I'm going to tell you to just wait a little minute. So, Javon is an integrated marketing student at the University of the West Indies, Mona, and he's a fast-rising media producer and social influencer. Javon has worked with media in reporting, production, and even social media managing and marketing, and he is my good friend. Hello, Javon. The pleasure is all ours. Now, Jeff, we were talking about how to earn from our brand and NFTs, as you would have heard, but I just want you to share with us really quickly your journey. How did Javon come into this media space and be this media guru and influencer in the making? And of course, share some advice and tidbits on how we can build our brand and be consistent in our brand.
All right, no problem. So I might not be too off fair about the influencer journey, but I can tell you about how you can use your brand in order to be a subject expert in your field so that you can get the jobs that you want to, ascertain.
Right.
So for me, I wanted to work at a top media company, right? So from high school, I kind of created my social media in a way where I will be that person where, he's a good speaker, he can report, and they can look at that type of content. And I did the Ravensworth News in high school, but many persons won't have that opportunity.
Right.
But you can, make some short videos and so on so that you can be seen as a person for hire in a media company or any company that you want to do, marketing, communications, and so on. So you have to use the different social media platforms in a digitally literate way.
Yes.
So LinkedIn, and first of all, if you don't have a LinkedIn account, just stop listening to me right now and go make one. So it's so important to have these type of social media platforms and put content on it so that when persons, because these employers are gonna look you up, So when you go on these social media pages, what content is there? What are they going to hire?
Zero followers,
honestly,
nobody.
So you have to show them something like a portfolio type of thing on the social media so that they can say, okay, she did this, she did that, or he did that, he done that. So he's a perfect person to hire. And it's so important to have that type of thing on your social media. And I started that in a way that it's not only in a media, but leadership also.
Right.
And just showing different forms of personality so it can be humanistic in a way so that you can be a perfect candidate for that job.
Javon, a lot of people when they hear social media, it's about, let me just post this picture today with my friends.
and
Let me
a
just
set
post
them
my
along.
cat. Let me post my family. And that may be good and all, but here you are, a living example of using social media to create content that, of course, wields greater opportunities. You're a producer at a particular media agency doing your thing. And when it's not that, you're the guild PRO showing what's happening. And here you are leveraging the same Instagram and Twitter that we all have access to your best interest. Javon, gold stars for you. But
Thank
just
you.
before, no problem. And just before you go, Jeff, give us some advice. I have the 0 followers. I don't know if I take no picture. I only post once in a blue moon. There are people like that, Jeff. So I want to be the next big thing. I just don't host this event. Me can put this on my LinkedIn and say, I Sajikor, make me host something else. Give us some advice real quick.
It's many persons want the end goal right away, but there's a startup, and you have to start from somewhere. If that means you're going to host probably a class event and somebody video it, you're gonna put that up on your story. You have to put in groundwork in order for you to reach that end goal that you wanted to go. Many persons see Terry Carrell, WBSU, and Rush Cam, they're hosting big events, but they put in the groundwork so that they can reach where they want to go. So it's important that start from a level of you put yourself out there, you put yourself in the different spaces where you're going to, you want to host. So you host, you put yourself up to host like probably events on the UE campus or whichever university campus, your church, and all of these like forms of events, and then post those events on your social media so the content will be there. So when you go up for a hosting job or you apply for a hosting gig and you share them your social media and you say, you can watch this thing that I did, or there's a YouTube link somewhere to a Z-Rise thing. You can press the link and see how I did there, so I can be a perfect person to host your thing. So it's important to put in that groundwork. That's the best advice I can give anybody. Right now, don't think it's too late. You probably see those top influencers. You think you don't have enough followers, but influence the persons who are in your space. And the way how social media works is so amazing, especially Reels now, as well as Instagram are, it's pushing that engagement aspect despite the amount of followers they have. So it's important to just put it out there despite, being daunted by the amount of followers you have, because it will reach who you want it to reach.
Couldn't have ended it better, Javon. Thank you so much. We really appreciate it. It's very candid and authentic. And of course, Jeff, you know what you said? Work hard. People want the end goal right now, but you have to start somewhere, be consistent, and share the information within your community. Thank you so much, Jeff.
Thank you, Tamoy.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was Javon Gordon sharing with us his journey and, of course, some advice on how you can create your brand, but also helping yourself to go into greater opportunities and spaces, and, of course, secure that bag, because that's the end goal at the end of the day. Now, ladies and gentlemen, it was my pleasure being your moderator for this event. We learned so much. We learned about consistency, putting in the work, being digitally literate, and our presenters all the way from El Salvador, Trinidad, and Jamaica would have shared their tidbits. Javon, we're international over here. And I also want to commend Jean-Claude and his team for just thinking of this idea and, of course, solving a problem. You are change makers, visionaries, and it was my pleasure as Miss Kingston and St. Andrew Festival Queen, Tamoy Campbell, to have hosted this event. Thank you so much for having me. And I'm going to go back to the brainchild behind all of this, Jean-Claude, to give his closing remarks and just a few tidbits on everything that has happened so far. So thank you so much. Stay blessed, keep safe, and we're going to await Jean-Claude in just a few.
To close, now we've heard a lot. The conversations were really enlightening, and they were littered with gems. And here we're in the business of empowering creators to actually earn from their brand. And the whole reason beyond this launch is to really announce that Z-Rise has launched Z-Link, and the early access program is now open. Now, based on the discussions with Kadia, you've heard from Tamoy, you've heard from Alicia, you've heard from Javon, you've heard from Alexia, you've heard from Bonita, you've heard a whole lot. And as it stands, if you are a Caribbean creator, you really need to understand and appreciate that there is a lot that goes into monetizing your brand. And with that in mind, I'm announcing that the early access program for Z-Link is live. It is live, and over the course of the upcoming weeks, we will be showing you guys and we will be giving you examples of creators who are actually earning through our platform, right? So if you haven't done so as yet, go to zrise.co, that's zrise.co, and sign up for the early access program for Z-Link. We are literally going to show you guys how easy it is, of course, with us all doing the back-end work, for Caribbean creators to earn. And the good part is you don't need thousands of followers. You literally don't need that. We are going to show you how to earn from your community as it is, right? So go to zrise.co and of course sign up for the early access for Z-Link and begin monetizing your social brand. Like, literally, we're going to help the creators and the social media users to make money. It's like easy cash. Come on. Just sign up. It's that easy, right? Now, I want to give a huge shout out to all our sponsors, the team that has been here supporting. And firstly, I must commend our lovely hostess, Tamoy Campbell, Miss Kingston and St. Andrew Festival Queen. I mean, she's just amazing. And I can say this event had a lot of razzle dazzle, right? And I also want to thank our guests, Alicia, Kadia, Javon, Bonito, Alexia. A huge shout out to you guys. Thank you to the Z-Rise team, Tavares, Shamar, Triana, Sachin. Thank you to the Emerge Media team. Thank you to just a huge shout out. Of course, we cannot forget my lovely friend, Minister Alanda Terralang. I mean, it was a lot, but he showed up. And we here really appreciate it. And I personally really appreciate that. So thank you to our sponsors. Thank you to everyone who tuned in. Thank you. And regardless of what you think, this was a successful launch. And for those who are in doubt, you can just stay tuned over the next couple of weeks. We're literally going to show you guys how content creators with not a lot of followers are earning through Z-Link. So I would advise you guys to literally just sign up. Easy money. Sign up. Right. So thank you again, guys, and sign up. That's the message. Sign up.